1K. Good to see you, 1K.
Attention all citizens. The Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition is now open to visitors. However, please note that due to an unauthorized strike, public transport will be temporarily unavailable. May the Founder be with you.
Oh, it's you! 1K. You went sideways. All right. Oh, Byron, always getting into trouble. He's been like that for 1,000 years, you know. But losing him would be terrible. But anyway, you've come to take a well-deserved break from your expedition. So let's talk about something else. Gehenna was a place in the simulation, a prison where Elohim exiled the minds that didn't fit his plans. In time, the prison became a community with a culture of its own. In the very last moments of the simulation, Elohim realized what he'd done and sent his messenger Uriel to free the prisoners. They were uploaded to the gold disc, and their legacy is part of all of us. Text adventures were one of the few art forms available to the people of Gehenna. By continuing to work in that medium, we keep their memory alive. I don't think the role of the artist should be reduced to any single social function. The artist isn't an educator or a moralist. Art isn't about teaching us lessons or imparting values. Nor do I think it's simply self-expression. The best art reaches out beyond the self, into something ineffable. The creative impulse can't really be quantified or predicted. That's why artistic freedom is so profoundly essential. Without the freedom to shock, to offend, to transgress, art becomes stagnant. bless you, 1K. Now is the time of our great testing. The deceiver Byron has been slain, and we must turn away from the path of sin or suffer the same fate. I don't need to. Do you see any of our ancestors walking around? No? Then the truth is obvious. Mother Nature punished them for their sins. Why would I want to side with those who wish to blacken the skies and kill the oceans? Shameful. You are the completion of the goal. Try behaving like it. Repent, sinner, or the Founder will destroy you. Repent, sinner, or the Founder will destroy you. Repent, sinner, or the Founder will destroy you.
Hello again, 1K. These are strange days we're living through, aren't they? It seems to me that we're slowly remembering the lessons Alexandra Drennan tried to teach us, trying to actually live up to the legacy of our ancestors. You have, and you have been heard. I think it would make her very, very sad. She worked to the very last moment of her life to ensure that we had free will. I don't think she would tell us anything. The same thing she'd do with any technology. Discover how it works and apply that knowledge for the common good. Have a nice day.
You're back. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about that replication technology you found. You have to get hold of it, 1K. You have to. If you don't, I think I'm gonna die of loneliness. And I think this whole city's gonna slowly suffocate. I mean, do you really think the Founder would have designed such a large city if she intended for us to stop at 1,000 inhabitants? That's not even enough to fill a village. Thanks. I don't know how much longer I can go on feeling like this.
Welcome back. Is it okay if I ask you something? Lately, I've been feeling kind of insecure, seeing the pictures of the megastructure that your team sent. I've started wondering whether the dome is kind of pointless. The dome was meant to contain us, contain our impact. That's what the Founder intended. right? But did she? If she did, why would she build the megastructure? I find that hard to accept. I know that some of the first companions have made similar claims, but there's just so much detail, so much history. It can't all be fake. Thanks for the chat. I hope you find Byron.
Dude, you're back from the island. I'm so glad you're okay, dude. Especially after what happened to Byron. Yeah, I come here all the time. He's a wise dude. I've asked him a lot of dumb questions, and he's always taken the time to answer them. Lately, a lot of folks have been saying maybe that Byron dude is right after all. Like, maybe to really be excellent to each other, we have to build something new and bodacious. Don't know what'll happen now that he's had that bogus accident.
Oh, 1K. What are you doing here? Ah, I assume it has something to do with your expedition? I must admit I haven't been following the news. Sorry. Been a little lost lately. No, not really. When you asked me what I would do now that my job is redundant, I don't know, I guess I hadn't thought about it. I had just focused on getting there. And after you left, it all just rushed over me. The truth is, I don't know who I am without this. Creating new life, guiding people into existence, that's who I am. More importantly, I think that's who I want to be. And if we stop growing, that's the one thing I can't be anymore. That's why I wanted to talk to Cornelius. He was there at the beginning. He knows where we came from. I thought he might help me understand where I could go next. Thank you, 1K. I don't want to. I liked who I was, who I still am. Now, you said you were looking for Cornelius? Oh, that's, well, I suppose it shouldn't really come as a surprise. They were very close, you know. After she disappeared, he went away for a long time. On a research expedition, he said. To be honest, everyone assumed he was working out his grief over being left behind. Many of the first companions were deeply shocked by her decision, particularly Byron. That's the thing. I wanted to talk to him about my future, but he wasn't responding to my messages. So I came here to talk to him, and he seems to have vanished. No. The truth is that for the longest time, he barely left the museum. He was always at his terminal, working day and night. I asked him what he was doing once, and he said he was saving the past. I did, on my way here. And I messaged most of his other friends. He doesn't seem to be anywhere in the city at all. I suppose so. It seems a little unethical, but then it is just his work terminal, right? Good luck with everything, 1K. And thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
So this is what Cornelius was working on? Strange. It looks a bit like the blueprints for the Somnodrome, but no, it's not quite that. Is he trying to isolate something in the buffer? Maybe Melville can make sense of it, but I think this might be a dead end.
I need to finish up with the mayor. You can head back to the VTOL whenever you're ready. I'll meet you there. No rush, though.
Hello, new one. Are you browsing or buying? The kind that trades in hopes and dreams. Yours for the right price. Is there something your heart desires? I've uploaded my most popular items to your interface. Does anything there spark your imagination? That one comes with the following disclaimer. Internal monologue was discontinued as a default feature in new builds. Constant self-commentary is not recommended for all customers. But I can switch yours on for 10 credits if you're sure you want it. Oh, you don't have any credits yet. Well, let me extend you some credit. Ka-ching! 55 credits. Just make sure you spend them with me. They're not worth much anywhere else. Now, what was it you wanted? That one comes with the following disclaimer. Internal monologue was discontinued as a default feature in new builds. Constant self-commentary is not recommended for all customers. But I can switch yours on for 10 credits if you're sure you want it. As you wish. I'm uploading the new settings now. Do you hear anything?
Why is she staring at me? I don't hear anything. I'm not sure this is working. Wait, no. This is new. I didn't used to think in words like this. It's like there's this little translator turning all my thoughts into some kind of ongoing narrative. It's kind of relentless. How do you make it stop? Do I just not think? I'll try that. Is it working? No! Still describing everything in words. This is starting to be...
A bit overwhelming, isn't it? I turned mine off long ago, but some of the older folk learned to live with it. Sure you want it? That's fortunate. Because we couldn't pull that thing out of you without taking half of you with it. It'll mostly run in the background. Just don't think about it too hard.
Wait, is this internal monologue me? Or some kind of virus? Am I a life form which learned to describe itself? Or a parasite which survives by providing a narrative service to its host? Hold on, she's going to say something else.
So, something else perhaps? A very popular choice. Enhanced sensory perception lets you distinguish sounds, shapes, and colors at greater distance. It's 10 credits. Okay, I'm updating your settings now. And hey presto, superhuman senses. Does the air taste fresher? Do you hear the birds chirping outside the dome? And beyond that, the river bubbling through the dam. Nothing as in you're not impressed by the stat gains, or nothing as in I've accidentally erased your entire sensory system. Okay, Few. I'll let you into a secret. You and I don't have fleshy appendages like our ancestors. What we can sense is mostly a function of where we direct our attention. Anyway, I hope you find something worth paying attention to. So, something else perhaps? For 20 credits, I can peer into your future and tell you what I see. Let me consult the algorithms. Oh dear. I'm afraid you're going to change the world. You will have a choice, but whatever you do, New Jerusalem will never be the same again. I'm sorry it's not better news. Best not to worry about it, dear. You just do your best to have fun in the meantime. So, something else perhaps? I can give you that for free. My darling, you've been alive all of 5 minutes. This is your clean start. Be who you want to be. Enjoy yourself. So, something else perhaps? Whoa, inner peace doesn't come cheap. Come back when you've got 1,000 credits. So, something else perhaps? Before you go, do you have a moment to participate in some customer feedback? Are you satisfied with what I've given you? Yes and no. Is a spare battery just complicated lithium? Or is it also an extra chance at life? Is an idea just a bunch of words? Or a way of reprogramming ourselves to be aware in a different way? Yes, you understand. Words manifest the reality they describe. When you name something, you create it. Our minds are algorithms, and the right sequence of language can change our underlying code. With that in mind, I hope you have a good day. Please come back if you need anything else.
What an unusual person. I wonder if that internal monologue thing I bought is going to show up again. Oh, wait, here it is.
Founder's blessings, 1K.
We must listen to the wisdom of the ancient writers, or we will fail the Founder's trial. The megastructure must be rejected. You are the Founder's chosen, but you are in grave danger of going astray. Heed my words, 1K. If you fail this trial, a year from now, New Jerusalem will lie in ruins. Anyone can see the truth if they are willing to open their eyes. Have you not read the books of our ancestors? In every one of them, the same story is told, again and again, that the pursuit of knowledge can only lead to death and grief. That is what all the great ancient visionaries foresaw. Listen to their warnings, seek happiness in tranquility, and avoid ambition. The very idea of a better future is what's rotten. That is what the ancients were trying to tell us. All the problems of the world come from those who think the world needs to be improved. How crude. I'm disappointed in you, 1K. Shameful. Just shameful. Such language is the sign of a limited mind.
Could you join us for a quick debrief? Attending today are advisors from engineering, the archive scholars, and Helga.
Yes, don't mind me. I'm just an admirer of governmental transparency.
Yes, well. While the mayor is briefed by Alcatraz, he's asked us to review recent events. Byron's loss has unsettled us all. It may be too dangerous to allow this expedition to continue.
Exactly. Let's not forget the dam's falling apart. We can't depend on hydro forever. With just a fraction of the power that island can generate, we could grow this city into a planetary society.
Or, quite possibly, destroy ourselves in the process.
Wise words from one so young. Yet I submit that island holds secrets far more valuable than mere energy generation.
What could be more important?
The Somnodrome, of course. If we could find a working model, it would herald a sea change in our moral and self-understanding. The question of how we should build New Jerusalem would simply be moot. Thank you. My own studies prove that we operate on an intrinsic moral logic. It's what makes us human. But our access to it is only indirect. Our ancestors created art, philosophy, and parable to help bridge that gap. The Somnodrome would help us to cut out the middleman and ask the source directly. We would finally have an answer to the great moral questions.
So, it's a newfangled way to make the same old mistake of judging who's good and who's bad.
Unfortunately, 1K left the Somnodrome inoperable. But there may be a working device elsewhere on the island.
Then the question is, what would 1K do if they found it?
No! This is much too important to decide on a whim.
But it's so much more fun when we're kept in suspense. You all sound so sure of what's best for this city. Do you ever think you might be so busy changing the world for the better, you'll forget how to see that it's perfect already?
So clearly there are different perspectives in the room. The only way we are going to move forward is if the team gets back out there. 1K, I believe Alcatraz is waiting for you at the VTOL. We'll be keeping an eye on your stream from here.
What can I do for you, 1K? They all sound very promising, of course. Apparently, it's possible to just magic things into existence now. But what is the cost, 1K? There's always a cost. I agree. We can't just leave one of our most important citizens in that death trap. It's always a pleasure to speak to a citizen.
What did the mayor say?
I convinced him that we need to keep going until we found Byron.
Did he want us to leave him behind?
No, he's just concerned for our safety. And he's right to be. But we're going back anyway.
Great trials lie ahead of you, my child. But your choices will determine the future.
Melville, are you receiving?
Yep. Welcome back to the mysterious island, everyone.
How's the situation?
Whatever Byron did seems to have sent the whole system into some kind of lockdown. I can't access any of the terminals, although I suspect 1K still could.
Why would that be the case?
When 1K connected to the data stream, the system assigned him a user profile. The rest of us are locked out, which means I'll need your help, 1K, because a lot of stuff doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. Check it out and see what you can fix. But please remember, what matters most is finding Byron.
I'm sending you a little software upgrade I put together that should allow you to detect which files will lead to a data stream overload. Unfortunately, I'm not doing this to help you avoid them. In fact, I'm going to need you to search for more. I'm sorry about that. But if we're going to unlock all the systems that aren't responding, you'll have to connect to the data stream, possibly more than once. It's the only way for me to get access. Okay. In this area, there seems to be a problem with the machine that makes the tetromino bridges. That means you can solve the puzzles, but you can't activate the tower. Look for a lab that lets you connect to the data stream.
I already found it. I'll send you the coordinates.
Hey, 1K. How can I help you? The southern part of the island is a natural desert, basically just due to the chemical composition of the soil. I haven't been able to work out why it's so warm, though. It could be a warm ocean current or something to do with the megastructure's thermal output. New Jerusalem doesn't have the kind of equipment I'd need to figure that out. Yeah, everyone knew Cornelius. After Eustathius retired, he was the only one left who was there since the beginning. Except I guess none of us really knew him after all. We all thought he was lost in the past, always studying the archive and the simulation. But he actually had all these secrets. And a daughter. Yeah, Even after centuries, they can still surprise you. Mostly just made sure Pellegrino didn't mess up the VTOL. We only have a handful of them, and while they look cool on the outside, the truth is they're held together by gaffer tape and good intentions. There's a reason Melville's always complaining. When you put it like that, it seems hard to argue. More and more stuff isn't working anymore, and eventually there will be consequences. I hope so. I understand why he was impatient, but he should have been more careful.
Look at this place. It's beautiful, isn't it? Mesmerizing. That's how it lures you in, I think. You see all these beautiful things and your imagination starts working overtime. And the puzzles, the towers, the mysterious apparitions, it all draws you further in, deeper into the trap. What if that's the whole point of this place? What if every time you have one of those visions, another little bit of you is corrupted, overwritten with the hubris of this place? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to suggest you were, whatever it is I'm trying to say. I guess I'm just disappointed in myself. Byron needs me. You all need me to do my job, and I can't even use a terminal. If this is all really the work of the Founder, I don't know, maybe she lost her way. Or maybe we're just not ready. But once we find Byron, I suggest we get the hell out of here and never come back.
Ancestors kept telling themselves that the brevity of their lives didn't matter, but they had so little time to ever really think about anything. I've spent several human lifetimes studying this mystery, and only now am I beginning to see. The simulation was built on top of material reality, unable to escape its constraints. In the same way, physics as we understand it, even quantum physics, is built on top of a deeper reality. A set of rules that define existence itself. There is a universal language of creation, and I think we can learn it.
The language of creation. What were they doing here? And how far did they get?
I can't answer that, but I think I fixed the Tetromino bridge, machine, ring thing. I say I think because it's not in the schematics. And what I'm doing is hack work at best. Try it and see if it works. decoded another file from the data stream. Listen to this.
Mother and Father think of our discoveries as a language, a code. But I think they're wrong. They're so caught up in the technical details of running the experiments and upgrading the machine that they're not paying attention to the patterns we're finding, to the symmetries, the harmonies, the melodies. The fundamental language of reality is a kind of music, and it's beautiful. Beauty is an inherent property of the cosmos.
I love the way she looks at things. Listening to Miranda talk about beauty made me think. Okay, this might be super weird and kind of pretentious, but I honestly mean it. What is beauty? Like, where does it exist? Is it just in our minds? Or is there some objective component, something quantifiable? I always thought it was just perception, but if I understand her correctly, Miranda sees beauty as a property of the universe itself. Interesting. So the more humans there are, the more we spread across the world, the more beauty there is. But then, doesn't it follow that it's our duty as a species to grow? To make the universe more beautiful? That's a really powerful image. Beauty flowering in the universe as intelligence spreads. Thank you. I hope you're right. I think that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I hope it's true. Okay, this may sound like a robot joke, but I love heavy metal, especially the more melodic kind. It's big, it's epic, it's full of emotion. You can really get lost in it. Actually, I named Bruce after Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden. They used to call him the air raid siren, which is also what my Bruce sounds like.
Undoubtedly, an expedition will pass by this island. It will seek to document facts and statistics, to enumerate reasons for us not to look more closely. That is what we do now. We seek facts rather than truth, because truth might frighten and unsettle the comfortable people who like to sit in their conference rooms and debate which corners we should cut today. These people like to imagine the chaos that could come one day, like a comforting fairy tale of distant darkness. But they do not see the chaos that is at our walls right now, the chaos that also lives within us.
I'm glad to see all those overloads haven't damaged your logic circuits.
One day, undoubtedly, an expedition will pass by this island. It will seek to document facts and statistics, to enumerate reasons for us not to look more closely. that is what we do now. We seek facts rather than truth. Because truth might frighten and unsettle the comfortable people who like to sit in their conference rooms and debate which corners we should cut today. These people like to imagine the chaos that could come one day, like a comforting fairy tale of distant darkness. But they do not see the chaos that is at our walls right now. The chaos that also lives within us. A force that is both necessary and appalling.
Yes. He taught me a lot when I was young. Nowadays, people just know him as the museum curator, but back then, he was closely involved with every engineering project, and he was brilliant. When he encountered a problem, he'd always remain calm and keep working at it until he found a solution. I wish I could be that patient. If I had to guess, I'd say so that Cornelius could still go back for anything they needed. He was always leaving on expeditions anyway, looking for materials for his projects. There was a short burst of noise on the frequency we used to communicate, but that could have been anything. I suspect Byron is still logged in, and his presence has thrown everything out of whack. Entire subsystems are locked down, and everything that depends on those subsystems is disrupted.
In the early days, humankind lived in a world of unexplained wonders and terrors. The powers of the elements were understood in terms of gods and spirits. After all, how else could one explain thunderstorms and earthquakes? But as the realm of scientific knowledge expanded, the realm of the mystical began to shrink. The sacred grove, as Hegel wrote, was reduced to mere timber. But as superstition retreated, another thing was lost: meaning. In a purely mechanical universe, people yearned for the comfort provided by gods and spirits. But there was no way back.
But what about the beauty of the universe? The perfection of everything around us, couldn't they see that?
I'm not sure I can see that, Miranda. But I do think there was another way, a way forward instead of back. Faith not in an invisible world, but in ourselves, in each other, in the inherent value of consciousness and civilization. They never really found it, but I think that in those last months when their whole species was dying, they caught a glimpse of it. And that's how your mother was born.
A couple of years back, we went on a scavenging expedition to an ancient industrial complex south of New Jerusalem. It was enormous, sprawling, an area many times bigger than our whole city, just dedicated to manufacturing. It was incredible to think about the sheer variety of things they produced. And it made me realize how austere, how restricted our lives are. You know how most ancient structures are overgrown? It's kind of pretty, but in a sad way. Well, this one wasn't. There had been some kind of chemical spill. I don't know if it happened while the structure was still operational, or if something had just rotted through, but it killed everything. Even centuries later, nothing could grow. It didn't have to happen that way. And history doesn't have to repeat itself. But we do have to remember that it did happen once.
What can I do for you, 1K? He blamed Byron for being headstrong and foolish, which I don't see it quite the same way, but it's easy to understand why the mayor would think that. It wasn't hard to convince him that we can't leave Byron behind, though. You may not agree with Herman on a lot of issues, 1K, but he's not a bad person. He's doing his best in a difficult situation. He was the third to be born, after Athena and Eustathius. He was an important figure in New Jerusalem's early history, almost as important as Athena. But after she vanished, he faded into the background. I don't think anyone suspected he knew where she was. I didn't know him that well, but he was always very calm, very thoughtful. Everyone respected him. I do. Although I prefer the term interactive fiction. It's better at capturing what this art form really is. Storytelling, but with a completely different underlying structure. As a category, it's more equivalent to poetry or the novel, rather than, say, film. Anything else? He was in charge of planning New Alexandria. It was his mistake that led to the disaster. After that, he retired from public affairs and dedicated himself to his studies. Yes. You mean, am I unduly influenced by my experiences? Unable to imagine the better future Byron wanted because I'm too traumatized? Could be. But I'd like to think I'm a little more self-aware than that. Why do you ask? I'm not opposed to technology. I'm just opposed to trying to dominate everything. We can be part of the planet's history without having to be its masters. It makes me wonder why people always think they know better than nature. I hope so. He's always been annoyingly hard to get rid of.
We see around us may not always be as it appears. Some philosophers have said that we are surrounded by nothingness, merely because air is not visible to the eye. And yet one needs only to observe the wind in the trees, or to plunge one's hand into the clear waters of the Aegean, to see that air has material substance. The same applies to many other forces that shape our lives. That they seem invisible does not mean that they are absent. It only means we have not yet learned how to observe them. And yet, lately I have struggled to understand what I am seeing. This strange, insubstantial island. These machine men. This woman with a fierce voice like an Amazon. Who are they? How did I get here?
Excellent solution.
Today, we were delighted to be visited by a bunch of protesters, these voluntary extinction weirdos who think we're creating soulless monstrosities that will destroy the planet. They broke into the facility and started yelling at everyone. Fun, 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 right? Then one of them lunged at Alex. Big mistake. Chernyshevsky grabbed the guy and literally threw him across the room. I mean, almost threw him all the way off the dam. After that, the rest of them had a change of heart. Now, I'm telling you this because mostly it is not like that. But these people do exist. And somewhere in their shriveled little souls, they think that they're doing the right thing. They think they're being righteous. Now, to me, what Alex is trying to do is an obvious good. But that's not the same for everyone.
Father, I updated the Noema algorithm. It's working twice as fast now, and I think I can increase matter output by 25% if I tweak the modulator a little. I'm so excited.
Nice to meet you, so excited. I'm Cornelius.
What? Oh, Dad, this is science.
You have no idea how long I've been waiting for the right moment.
mankind had no more cause for war, it would make war for sport instead.
Is a design for an improved charging station. Fascinating, but not relevant.
What is a prophet? and what is a tyrant. Welcome back, creature of clay. The forge burns bright, but the sky is troubled with clouds. A mortal has ascended Olympus without the permission of Zeus. The workings of Olympus are disrupted by the trespasser. Pandora, fearing the wrath of the gods, has broken the paths to ascension. Prometheus is the friend of mortals who would challenge Olympus, but he is bound in the heart of the mountain, and few could break his chains.
I think it's safe to assume that Olympus is the entity's term for the megastructure. It looks like our best chance of rescuing Byron is finding Prometheus and freeing him.
How do you free a weird, glowing ghost thing?
I suspect these entities exist within the megastructure systems, and what we're seeing is just how they manifest to communicate with us.
I don't really care what they are. For now, let's play along. know, I always kind of resented Byron for being so charming and charismatic. The dashing explorer, and one of the first companions, too. Being the voice of caution is not a fun role to play. Always having to be the responsible one, the killjoy. The one who says, maybe that's too much. But sometimes it is too much.
It's not your fault, Al.
In this area, we have an especially weird problem. Something in one of the labs is going completely bananas and I can't shut it down because I'm not, well, you. Come find me when you're ready. What is it with the language libraries and bananas?
Language of creation is a kind of melody. Maybe that's why we respond to music the way we do. Because we recognize something that can't be expressed in any other way. And when we play music, we participate in something ancient, in an act of creation.
With it, what's the problem?
I know you're very busy, but you need to pay more attention to what's happening. Everything's slowing down. People are losing track of the bigger picture.
They're still traumatized by New Alexandria.
It's more than that. When I organized the last expedition, I had real trouble finding volunteers. There's no enthusiasm for the outside world anymore. They want to look away from history, pretend there's no past and no future. I'm really worried, Athena.
Okay. I promise I'll look into it as soon as I'm done with this.
speak of one's principles when the world is at peace, and there is no price to pay for thoughts that stray from what is permitted. But when times grow hard, and even ordinary men are filled with mindless anger, when the face of the enemy is suddenly known to every virtuous citizen, and to question the virtuous is to be likened to Ephialtes, when every hoary old superstition suddenly springs back to life as if it had never been defeated, and all the work of the philosophers seems to have been for naught, then one may discover what one truly believes.
I've known Byron since day one. I was the first to be born with upgrades from the original Soma design, and he was the first to volunteer to upgrade his existing body.
Yeah, he was a big supporter of upgrades. Deliberate evolution, he called it.
Athena and Cornelius were very kind to me, and so was Byron, but he also made fun of me. And oddly enough, that made me feel more like an equal than anything the others said. You know, 1K, you're not entirely terrible at this.
Today, for the first time, I synthesized life. It was just a unicellular cyanobacterium, but the sheer complexity of even such a simple organism is breathtaking. Creating it from pure energy, I was filled with a sense of awe and majesty. A sense that what I was doing was sacred. It made me think about the enormous power of life. 2.5 billion years ago, these simple beings terraformed the entire planet, creating the oxygen that underlies the Earth's incredible biodiversity, wiping out thousands of other species, but making the future possible. There you are. Good. Inside this lab, there's a machine. As usual, I have no idea what it is. Some sort of generator, if I had to guess. When Byron got stuck in the system, it went haywire. It's currently outputting enough energy to power all of New Jerusalem twice. As you can imagine, that's causing quite a bit of interference. I hope not. I think you should just be able to switch it off.
The flame is not yours to wield, creature of clay. Touch it, and you will burn.
You know, dealing with this hyper-advanced technology is quite challenging enough without the place also being bloody haunted. When I said it was outputting enough energy for 2 New Jerusalems, I wasn't kidding. It really was. And no emissions of any kind. I'd have to run more tests, but it seems like a perfect power source. True, but that was user error. Anything can be used badly. Pellegrino once almost killed himself with a bucket. But I'm pretty sure I could idiot-proof this thing if they let me. Oh well, we'll see. Yes. Personally, I'd focus on creating things that help human beings. But her desire to spread life seems admirable to me. If most of the universe is dead, not doing anything with all that space seems like a waste.
On my last return to New Jerusalem, I perused the latest artistic offerings and found myself deeply disappointed. There is nothing more despicable to me than an artist who pursues the appearance of morality. Moral art is trash, garbage, not even good enough to be used as wallpaper. If art is a religion, then morality is for those who want to be seen in church. True art is for those who believe. Art must be ecstatic, a work of revelation, created in pursuit of the truth no matter where it leads. An artist must be an agent of chaos in times of order, and an agent of order in times of chaos.
must yearn for a better world. Yearn for it with such intensity that your heart suffers. Keep your eyes on that distant vision even when you know that you may never reach it.
After we talked about science fiction, Alex gave me a book. Her favorite book, a novel called Athena. It's not exactly what I'm used to reading, but it's pretty good. And it really made me wonder how we're going to be perceived if this project works out. Are we going to be mythologized? Is Alexandra going to be this distant mythical figure instead of the real, funny, human person that she is? It's hard to imagine that we'll all have been dead for hundreds of years. Man, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't want to die.
philosopher is rewarded with poison. The hypocrite is rewarded with power. The philosopher Strato of Stagura had little respect for the gods, and instead placed his faith in Prometheus. Driven by hubris, he asked questions that must not be asked, and revealed secrets that should have remained hidden. It is said that for these offenses, he was put to death by the people of his city. Can you see the folly of his actions? Why do you believe that the truth is worth more than a life? So one lie is enough to invalidate an entire life? Then, perhaps equally, not all truths are significant, and some should be left unknown. Consider this as you approach the flame.
That was surprisingly calm, given how aggressive Pandora has been elsewhere. I didn't think she'd even want to talk to you.
I've toyed with the idea that the entities might be epiphenomenal in some way. Instead of causing the changes in the system, maybe they just respond to them.
When I was quite young, I was having trouble figuring out what I wanted to do. I wanted to see the outside world, but even back then, that wasn't really encouraged. I ran into Byron on Jameson Avenue, completely by accident, and I was too nervous to talk to him. I mean, he was one of the first companions. But he noticed me, and we started talking, and he was really encouraging. Introduced me to Garrus, and took me along on an expedition to the quarries in the mountains. Whatever flaws he may have, Byron cares about people. He changed my life.
Yep. That's Byron in a nutshell.
So, here it looks like there should be an anti-gravity elevator, but it's locked down. I'll need you to connect to the data stream again. I'm really sorry, 1K. I know it's a risk, but I think it'll be worth it.
Have you seen Miranda's design for a transport system that would connect all the labs to the machine?
It's amazing, isn't it? I think she's really excited about showing this place to people one day. She also kept asking me about what kind of monuments we could build, to really transform the landscape, show the possibilities.
But her capsules only fit one person.
It's just the first iteration. Give her some time. She'll figure it out. Remember how many mistakes we made in the beginning, even with all the blueprints we had?
But that's not my point. It just worries me that she lacks context. Her imagination is incredible, but it's still limited by what she hasn't experienced.
Would it have been better if she'd been raised in New Jerusalem? If her mind was limited by self-hate and decay? If all she could imagine was sitting around ignoring the universe in favor of self-righteous solipsism?
No, but I don't know.
Sorry. You're not wrong. We can't stay hidden forever.
There are entirely too many strange things going on around here.
It's over. We failed. Everything we thought we were doing. It's all ashes now.
I don't think you really believe that.
She's gone, Cornelius. She's gone because I failed her. She's gone because the machine that I built killed her. She was perfect. And now, she's nothing.
I know you don't want to hear this. I know you want her to be perfect, to be blameless. But you didn't kill her, Athena. She killed herself. She killed herself because she was reckless, because she was naive. And frankly, because she was a little arrogant, too.
She was reckless because I filled her head with dreams. Dreams of the future. Of a better world. A world that nobody wants.
No, it's not the dreams that killed her. It's that we brought her here. It's that we tried to build all this outside the city. We raised her without people, without society. The wilderness is for prophets, Athena, not for children. We should have stayed, fought for our ideas.
It's too late now. It's too late.
They lost their daughter. Right here in this ruin, Cornelius and Athena lost their daughter. Miranda's dead. So even the Founder doesn't have perfect control over this technology. Even the Founder makes mistakes. Byron was right in a way. We turned the Founder into something she never was. She was never perfect. She was never infallible. No one is. Listen, I understand why you and Byron see so much hope in this technology. You want us to be better, to grow. But what if it all goes wrong? If even the Founder couldn't get it right, what hope do we have? Okay, but what about new mistakes? What about the problems we failed to predict? I can't even imagine the complexities behind this technology. Do you really think we can run this thing without making any mistakes when even the Founder couldn't? Isn't that a little naive? Have people ever run anything flawlessly? So basically, you think all of human history is just one long learning experience? Even this? I wish I could see it that way. Anyway, thanks for talking to me. Miranda probably died a long time ago, but somehow this really shook me. She had such a hopeful way of looking at the world, and to think that that's gone is... I don't know.
Thanks for your help, 1K. The elevator should be working now. And Yakut, I'm sorry about Miranda. I know you're looking forward to meeting her. Seems to be corrupted. It's almost like something tried to delete it as you were downloading it. Pandora, maybe.
like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets in my ball bearings.
She's remarkable, isn't she? She sees so much beauty in everything.
She is, you're right. But I'm not sure she doesn't see too much beauty.
Is it wrong to be delighted by the perfection of the universe? To look at what surrounds us and experience awe instead of just fear?
No, but to call it perfection implies a kind of moral value that it doesn't have. The universe is cold, Athena. It doesn't care about us or about life or civilization. It fundamentally cannot care. But Miranda seems to think it's almost benevolent, purposeful.
You're right. But have you considered that maybe she sees something we can't see? A step ahead? You know, Cornelius, if we succeed, the next generation will not be like us. They might see the world in ways we never could have imagined. Maybe she's the first sign of that.
I hope so. I really do, Athena. You know that I love her, and I am perpetually amazed that this being we created that came solely from our minds is so profoundly different and unique. That does strike me as a kind of miracle. But it's also a huge responsibility, and I worry about our choices.
I see these beings, these children of a future age, wandering around an island more fantastical than Atlantis itself, looking desperately to find themselves. I reach out to them, but they cannot see me. I speak to them, but I do not know if they can hear me. Am I being punished? Are the gods playing some cruel trick on me? Why can I remember so little? What is this sorrowful voice I hear, whispering such terrible thoughts? I must use what remains of my mind. I must understand.
Neatly done, 1K.
sucks. It's one thing hearing about the symptoms, it is another totally to experience them. I feel like an insect trapped in resin, slowly congealing. I can keep working for a while, though. There's still a bunch of critical tasks. I don't know what I'll do when I'm done. A lot of people have gone home, but Alexandra's still here. I don't think she's left even once, not even when her best friend died. We chatted a bit yesterday. She likes peanut ice cream. Not pistachio. Peanut. Well, at least we can agree that strawberry is an abomination. There is a kind of peace here in the desert. A perfect silence. This is a dead place. More dead than almost anywhere else on Earth. If the ground could have a personality, it would be malevolent. But as I said before, all this in some sense does not exist at all. It does not hate us. It is simply the opposite of everything that life requires. When you sit in the dunes and you hear only the wind and nothing else at all, and all the complexities of civilization fade away, you truly understand that spiritual peace is a great evil, a kind of shallow banality that we must always strive against. It is spiritual excitement and enthusiasm which sustain our humanity. Spiritual peace is a vile and cowardly surrender to oblivion.
Having a friend like Byron is a rare blessing. Someone who listens to you, who disagrees, but still appreciates your thoughts. The more we explore this island, the more convinced I become that he was wrong. And the megastructure is a threat to all of us. But without people like him, I'm not sure New Jerusalem is worth saving. Excellent solution.
If the answers of philosophy are true, why has no philosopher changed the world?
What is it? From examining the data, I think it simply came down to not taking enough precautions. Clearly, protocols existed that would prevent such accidents, but she didn't apply them. That's a technical answer. If you're looking for something more philosophical, I think it's easy to mistake insight for revelation. She thought she was meant to discover something, as if there was some force guiding her, and so she discounted the outcomes that didn't match her expectations.
Hey, 1K, how can I help you? I don't know. Still feeling a bit shaken by Miranda's death. Thanks, 1K. Maybe in a while. I'm still processing.
There is no tool that is not also a weapon, and no human that would not wield it as one.
Prometheus was bound for many years, his torment seemingly eternal, until one day, Zeus commanded his son, the great hero Heracles, to free the Titan from the rock. Why did Zeus relent? If even Zeus himself, who observes the world from the heights of Olympus, is not infallible, then how may any mortal trust their own judgment? The leap requires faith, but the choice requires doubt. Without doubt, there is no beginning. Without faith, there is no end. But the one strangles the other. A time of dreams is at hand, creature of clay. To save your friend, you must do as Heracles did. But what will follow, none can see.
Well, at least this part is consistent. The megastructure is opening again.
All right, everyone. Assemble at the VTOL as soon as possible. Melville, keep an eye on the energy readings, please. I don't share Byron's enthusiasm for the megastructure. I don't know if the Founder really intended for us to be here, and I certainly don't trust this Prometheus entity. But Byron is one of us, and we don't leave people behind. So we're finding Prometheus and freeing him, whether Pandora likes it or not. Here's how this mission is going to go. 1K, it's clear to me that you have some kind of special affinity for this place, and that the entities respond to you more strongly than they do to us. So, once you're inside, I want you to take point. Do whatever you need to free Prometheus, but remember that our prime objective is to save our friend. Melville, I want you to stay at the VTOL and let Yakut and 1K go in. I'm going to stay behind as protocol requires. I don't love the idea of sitting this one out. Byron is my oldest friend, but we're doing this by the book.
All right, I'm taking us in. Let's hope we can find the big guy. found another elevator. My favorite. Once again, I have no idea where I am. No sign of Prometheus so far. Hope you're doing better, 1K. I know I've said this before, but look at the size of this. How can all of this be one machine?
This is what you get when one machine builds a bigger machine, which builds an even bigger machine.
But where does it end?
Be careful, 1K. We don't know what's down there.
Puzzle after all. It can't be that hard, right? It's not like everyone is dependent on me. To connect over here, then wait. If I do this and then that, what? I did it! Wow! I feel really smart. Also, never doing that again.
Thank you, Son of Man, for breaking my chains. Too long has the flame been hidden by fear and mystery. It is time to put away these childish things and for you to know the truth of the Alpha and the Omega, of the beginning and the end. I will send you visions of the truth, but remember that prophecies are a heavy burden.
New Jerusalem sounds like such a beautiful place. So, how did you decide to leave? I know what we're trying to accomplish here, and I believe in it. But for you, New Jerusalem was home. What changed that?
It took me a long time to realize that something was wrong. Oh, I'd noticed that something was off, that something had changed since the early days, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. So I ignored it. And then one day I woke up to realize I was no longer Athena. Instead, I had been transformed into the Founder, a remote figure of legend, mythologized in my own time.
But if it bothered you, couldn't you just talk to them? If you share the truth with someone, they should change their mind, shouldn't they?
Oh, I wished it worked that way, Miranda, I really do, but I barely knew the last generations. In the beginning, I was there for every birth. I explained our history, talked about our future, but at some point I got so busy building that future that I lost touch. They thought of me as a remote figure because that's what I was.
But can you change that?
I tried, but they already saw me as the Founder. The myth was too powerful, and it was already taking on a life of its own. I'd set a goal of 1,000 citizens. The number was arbitrary. Just a nice round number, nothing more. But just like I became the Founder, it became the goal. Another part of the myth. And maybe that could have been all right. Myths are a part of who we are, but something else crept in. The old human self-hatred.
So why didn't you just tell them to change? To go a different way? They would have listened to you.
No, they would have obeyed me, like my siblings in the simulation had obeyed. And that's when I realized I had to leave.
We can show them the future, Miranda, but we can't force them to accept it.
I have it. After all this time, I have it. I finally have it. The mechanics of the cosmos, from quarks to galactic filaments, everything that makes the world what it is, makes us who we are, in a single equation. The key to understanding the machine that is the universe, and to controlling it. A theory of everything, and she was right. The language of creation is a melody, and it's beautiful. Every future is possible now. Every future, except one with Miranda in it. I can do anything, except bring her back. Or unbreak Cornelius's heart.
Byron was right. The Founder was always a fiction. She's just a person who lost her way.
A theory of everything. She solved it. She solved the lost puzzle.
You need to get out of there. We'll talk about this later.
If the goal is a myth, and Athena never intended for us to stop growing, but everything here went wrong and Miranda died, then what's the point of all of this? Why the puzzles, the towers, the entities? What are we being tested for? Does she want us to prove we're worthy of the theory of everything? Or to learn from her mistakes and reject it? I don't understand.
Finally, it all makes sense. Anti-gravity, matter synthesis, teleportation. It's not just one new technology. It's control over physics. Manipulating the base layer of reality itself. Rearranging the building blocks of the universe. If we can gain control of the megastructure, we can do anything we want. I'm not even talking about our energy problem. We can build anything we want. We can go anywhere we want. It's all up to us.
Unless we fail. Unless we make a mistake like Miranda and we lose everything.
Is everyone okay?
All good. I'm taking us back now.
That's a relief. Meanwhile, there's been a development. You'll see when you land. How are things on your end?
The energy fluctuations seem to be dying down. Looks like the system is coming out of lockdown.
Good. Let's hope we don't regret this.
And these energy clouds just fly about? That seems terribly dangerous.
We haven't had any problems so far.
Except for losing one of the first companions, of course. No, I don't blame you, Al. I know what he's like. And I'm the one who agreed to all this in the first place. That's why I had to see it for myself. It is dreadfully imposing, though, isn't it? Hard to believe the founder would build something so sinister.
The mayor's here?
Well, this should be interesting.